What is taking the UFC long to sign the Lazy King Abdoul Abdouraguimov? He's 16-1. He's on a six-fight winning streak. He just moved up a weight class, and won in the last round of a competitive fight against a much bigger man at middleweight in Aries FC. So why have they not signed this guy yet? There's a Paris card coming up with Cyril Gane versus Spivak, and there's still no word on if this guy's going to get signed or not. Like, there's 10 fights for the fight night Gane vs Spivak in Paris, and I don't see no Lazy King announcement. What's stopping them from signing him? They've signed some weird signings lately that make absolutely no sense, but they won't sign like an actual good prospect like the Lazy King. He's got a massive fan base too, and he's good. Like, he's a really good fighter. He's beat good guys. He's 16-1. Like, that's a really good record. And like, he's not just like can crushing. Beat Revol Heretic in his last fight, which was for the middleweight championship, who was 16-4. Beat Karol Amushu, who was 27-9. Beat former UFC veteran Godfredo Pipi in the first round by inverted triangle choke. Beat Luciana Contini, who's 13-3. Beat Lewis Gilsman, 7-1. Beat Carl Booth, 9-3. One loss was to Jaral Hussein El Sawi, who at the time was like really good. Obviously, Jaral's fell off a little bit since then, but this was in 2019, so yeah. Obviously, yeah, Jaral's taken a lot of damage since he went to the PFL, but you know, he beat Rodrigo Gavel Hero, beat Sidney Wheeler before Hamzat Shamaev did. I believe that was before the Hamzat fight. Yeah, so he fought Sidney Wheeler 4 months before Hamzat did, and beat him by a ground and pound in the first round. Like, he's just beat, like, he hasn't really fought any cans, really. Like, he's fought decent competition for most of his career. The worst opponent he probably fought was a 17-20 guy in his fourth fight, sorry. And then after that, it was all guys with positive records. So I really don't know why the UFC won't sign this guy. Him and Joaquin Buckley have been going back and forth. So hopefully that happens, because Joaquin Buckley did fight Nassourdine Imavov in Paris. So it's not like he wouldn't go fly all the way to Europe, fly all the way to France and take that fight. So hopefully that does end up happening, because this guy needs to be in the UFC. I don't know what else he has to do. Like I said, 16-1. I believe he's the double champ in Aries FC. Let me just yeah, he's the double champ in Aries FC. Like, there's nothing left for him to do on the regional scene. Like, you need to get this guy in the UFC, like, immediately. Like I don't understand why, like, they haven't signed him. Like, the UFC is really weird with who they sign. And I'm gonna make a like full depth video on this. Like, I'm doing some research on it and everything. But like, the UFC, they don't make any sense with their signings, man. Like, they'll sign like a random like 5-1 guy for absolutely no reason, but then they won't sign a 16-1 prospect. Like, the Lazy King is a young guy as well. He's 27 years old. Like, and he's a welterweight. Like, that's not old for a welterweight. Like, he's got a lot of experience. He's on a 6-fight winning streak. Like I said, against good competition. He has a personality too. He's not just like a Dagestani guy who goes, smash this guy, smash that guy, brother. I'm gonna smash everybody. He's not like one of those like Dagestanis. Like, he has his own like personality and everything. Like he's an interesting character. Like, it's just, I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of benefits to sign this guy, especially because in Paris they will lose their shit for this guy. Like, trust me, his fan base, like, they love him. Like, they want him in the UFC desperately. Like, I think the fact that they're not signing him is like raising his like fan base even more. Like, this guy's fan base is insane. Like, he's got such a like in-depth fan base. Like, anytime somebody gets signed to the UFC, you'll see this photo of somebody holding a flag with the Lazy King on it, with a Lazy King shirt. Like, they love him. It's not even just French people. Like, just all sorts of people love this guy. like he will be like a star if you get him on all these Paris cards. Like, just give him anybody, and he will be a star because they love him in France. Like, his fan base, they just look up Lazy King on Twitter, and you'll see like so many posts about this guy. And like, I don't get it. I don't get why nobody, like, I'm going through it now. Like, there's so many posts about this guy if you look up his name. But I don't know why they're not signing this guy. There's like, he has like a name. He's skilled. He'd be great for the Paris cards, especially because they don't have Cedric Doumbé. But like, I don't know. I've been pushing for this guy to be in the UFC since June of last year, and like, nothing's happened. Like, obviously, I'm not saying I have the pull or anything like that to get him in the UFC, but like, it's been that long though. How is this guy not in the UFC? And like, this guy, if you go through his Twitter, like, he has like a proper personality. Like, it, I don't know. He'd be big. It'd be big for him to be in the UFC. Like he would be the biggest star from France, I reckon. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, the way that they love him that much, like the fan base will go insane for this guy. Like, you have no idea. Like, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird that the UFC haven't signed this guy. Like, maybe he needs to, like, start saying he's gonna smash everybody, and then the UFC will be like, oh my god, we got to sign him. Like, I guess because he's got his own like unique personality that they don't want to sign him. I don't know. It's weird. The UFC's thought process, I'll never understand their like proper thought process when it comes to like signing prospects. Like, I bet they'll fucking put him on Dana White Contender Series, and then they'll sign some random like 5-0 heavyweight that's only beat guys with negative records. Like, that's just what the UFC do. It makes no sense whatsoever, but I don't know. It seems like that's what the UFC does nowadays. They don't want to sign proper prospects. They want to just sign random guys. Like, they'll sign some random 3-0 guy, not even put him on the Contender Series. They'll just add him straight to the UFC for no reason whatsoever. But then they'll have like really good prospects, like the Lazy King and George Hardwick, probably go and have to fight on the Dana White Contender Series. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm going to go more in depth on this later. But I don't know, it actually annoys me a little bit. Like, come on. We're in July, so maybe there's still a chance they add this guy. But they really need to add him, like, desperately need to add him to that Paris card. But yeah, thanks for listening. Sign the Lazy King. Come on, UFC, sign the Lazy King. All the French people fucking want him desperately. Like, desperately. Like, there is like a mini army to get this guy into the UFC. So, get this man in the UFC already. Like, what's the wait? Like, come on. Thanks for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll put up another video later. And also, second episode of the MMA Commonwealth Connection will be on later tonight, and we will be having a big time guest on there. So that should be exciting. So tune in for that. I can't wait. Big things are coming. So thanks for listening, and yeah, catches.